In this video, we will cover how to create a care arrangement. The objectives of the video are to explain what the care arrangement entity is, when it is necessary to create a care arrangement, how to create a care arrangement, and how to go about updating care arrangements. The care arrangement entity is used to record key information about a child's parents, customary caregivers, or other details about their current care arrangements. It is especially important for unaccompanied and separated children because it allows caseworkers to document key details about the parents, the customary caregivers, or other information that might not be detailed in other locations about their current care arrangements. When to create a care arrangement. Not all children registered in Progress V4, nor all children who have child protection cases in V4 will necessarily have a care arrangement documented. In accordance with the UNHCR's best interest procedures, care arrangements should always be created and kept up to date for unaccompanied children, including those living in foster care, institutional care, supervised independent living, child-headed households, and kafala situations. They might be necessary for other children, including separated children, as part of the documentation for best interest procedures in child protection module. This would include in BIAs or for BIDs in cases such as family separation, custody disputes, or temporary care arrangements. Guidance on when to create a care arrangement should be in line with the UNHCR's best interest procedures and should be outlined in an operations Progress V4 Child Protection Module Standard Operating Procedures. We will now discuss how to create a care arrangement in Progress V4. There are two ways to go about creating a care arrangement. For those instances where a child protection case is not being created and it is just necessary to update the care arrangements of a child, you would go through the registration module to create the care arrangement. To do this, you would ensure that you are in the registration module by looking at the navigation toolbar. You would go to the individual and you would identify the individual that you are looking for. I would then click on the individual, double check the information to ensure that this is the individual I'm looking for. I would then go to add. I would look for care arrangement. And then it's going to ask me to put in two pieces of information. First, whether or not this is the current care arrangement, meaning at the time that I am completing this, is this the situation that the child is living in? And then secondly, the type of care arrangement. I have 8 options to choose from: kafala, foster care, institutional care, kinship care, supervised independent living, customary caregivers, child-headed households, and other. These are the only 2 required fields for creating a care arrangement. Once I do this and I push OK, it will then take me to the broader care arrangement form. If I'm looking to add a care arrangement to a child who already has a child protection case, I would then navigate to Child Protection Module on the navigation bar and then go to Child Protection Cases. I would then search using the child protection case number for the case that I'm looking for. Push search. Once I have identified the case, I will click on the case number. I will then scroll down to the section that includes care arrangements and specific needs. Here, I will just check to see what information is already existing. Either way, I'm able to add a new care arrangement, but right now, looking at this case, there is no current care arrangement documented. To add a care arrangement, I will go up to the ribbon and I will click on the arrow next to add. I will then click on care arrangement. Similar to what happened when we created a care arrangement in registration module, a pop-up box will appear and it will ask us for the 2 pieces of information that are required to create a new care arrangement. The first is if the care arrangement is the current situation that the child is living in? For this, I will say yes. And second is the care arrangement type. Again, the same 8 options are available. The definitions of these care arrangement types, as well as when to use these, should be included in your child protection module SOPs for Progress V4. In this case, let us imagine that this child is in immediate need of care for this evening while a longer term solution is being identified. So I will click on institutional care and I will push OK. Once I click on OK, I will then be taken to the broader form for care arrangements where I can document additional information. As you will see, there are 2 fields that have the red asterisks next to them. These indicate that these are the only 2 fields that are required for me to be able to save this care arrangement. As we filled those out in the pop-up box, they are already populated. In addition to those, you will notice there is the care arrangement start date. When I click on this, it will default to today, and so I will click on that would be today. I do not have to include care arrangement end date until the date when the care arrangement actually comes to an end. And then also care arrangement formalized. This is asking whether or not there have been formal procedures put in place for around these care arrangements or whether or not they were spontaneous. If you would click on this, the response options are yes or no. In addition to this, it allows you to document in more detail the information around the caregiver or care arrangements. If the individual who is the caregiver is also registered in Progress V4, you would click on Registered Caregiver and it would allow you to look up that individual. If the caregiver is not registered in V4, you can create a relative record for the child and then look them up here. To create a relative record, you would need to go back to the child's individual record and registration module. The fastest way to do this would be to click on their individual ID here, which will then take you to their individual record. Now I'm in their individual record and I have the ability to, when I go to add, I can add a relative. Here I would complete the information about the family name, the relationship, the sex, the age, basically put in the information of that caregiver and then save. Once I have created the relative record, I can look up that individual's name here and I should be able to find that caregiver. As this example, we are talking about putting the individual into institutional care. I then would not have a registered caregiver, nor would I have a caregiver as a relative. Instead, I would put the individual's caregiver's details. So for example, we put the child for the evening in House of Helping Shelter. And I'm going to indicate here that the child will stay here until we can find a more long-term solution. The child can stay for up to 4 days. So I will have the information about where the child will be staying and any additional information around the care arrangements. If there's any other information that's necessary in terms of details or descriptions, they can be documented here in these text boxes. I'm going to indicate that today is the first day that the child will start in this care arrangement, and this is formalized. Now that I have completed the necessary information, the details, I will then push save and close. Now when I look at the case form, you will notice that there is now an active care arrangement, and this is the current care arrangement. Now, for example, if it's 4 days later and we have now identified foster care for this child, it will be necessary to update this care arrangement. To do so, I will need to first change the status of the existing care arrangement, and secondly, I will need to add a new care arrangement. To change the status of the existing care arrangement, it will be necessary to go up to the Child Protection module in the navigation bar and look for the care arrangements in the entity. I will click on this and it will take me to a view of all of the active care arrangements. I will then search for the care arrangement either by the individual, by the case number, or by the care arrangement number. I've now found the care arrangement, and I will click on that to open it. And you will notice that all of the information I had previously put in is still here. I can now go to current care arrangement, click on this and change this to no. And now I would like to put in an end date. So let's pretend that it is tomorrow, so the 15th. And that is the day that we're moving this child to foster care. So I will save and close. You will notice on this that it now says current care arrangement no. And when I go to this child protection case, when I scroll down, you will notice that the care arrangement has now been changed to the current care arrangement no. Now to add a new, all I would need to do is exactly what we previously had done. I would go to add, I would create a new care arrangement. I would say this one is now the current care arrangement. I found foster care. And this started on the 15th. There's no end date, and this is also a formalized situation. And the registered caregiver is this individual. Arranged. I would give any details about the caregiver. The caregiver can be found at this address. This arrangement will be longer term and updated on a monthly basis until permanent solution found. The child will stay at the home of Daniel with his I will then save and close. And now when we go down, you will notice that there is both the original care arrangement that says no, that is not the current, and then the new updated care arrangement. While it's not necessary to input all history of care arrangements, for children who have had an especially complex history where this could be relevant, you can go back and add a historical record of the care arrangements to date. This completes our video on how to create a care arrangement. Thank you for your time.